Hey everybody, here's our setup that we promised to do for you for events and how we do it, so you can kind of get an idea of how we set things up to make it more visually nice, I guess is the word I'm looking for. As you notice on our table here, we don't put any boxes out. We don't stack our warmers up on top of boxes because to me it looks messy, I guess is the best word for it. This way it's more visually appealing and you're not having a problem with your boxes tipping easy, because if somebody bumps that table and you've got a lot of warmers stacked on those boxes, they're going to tip and they're going to break. And a lot of people I've heard say that that happens. So we avoid that. Basically what we end up doing is we put everything under the table, and that's why we have a cloth all the way down to the floor. So we make sure that our tablecloths cover the entire table. Again, this is just so it looks neater and you're not going to have that messy look. This is a very small setup right now. We only did just a really little bitty thing just to show you how we do it, because right now I'm actually in my basement, so there's not a lot of room. Plus we didn't really feel like doing a full show setup that takes us a while. And then we use for our bars, I'm going to turn here, so sorry if you get a little motion sickness. For our bars, we use black racks. This is very, very little amount. We bring a lot more than this. We actually use 3 of these racks, or actually 4 now, sorry. Yep. 4 of them, and we put them together in a square, and we use tie straps to put them together. And then we have the hooks on it, and we put our bars in alphabetical order. And you'll also notice, I'm going to try to zoom in here to hopefully this doesn't have too much of an issue. We put our scent circles behind our bars. That way you can see, you know, so all of them are matched up. So if somebody's looking for a scent circle, it's easy enough to find. We price everything. We put the retail price on the front. And Scentsy does allow us to do that because of the fact people are going to be more apt to just look and go, oh, you know, that's what it is, and buy it. They don't like to ask. So even on a lot of our warmers, sorry again for turning, we put the prices on them, and actually we're starting to do that more and more. We just have a little post-it note in the middle of them, and again, that's retail. If we want to have a special, we cannot put that on there. They have to ask us for that. So that's why we have a sign that says ask for our specials. We always have an email sign-up list, and we have books out, you know, and any other literature that we want to put out. We also bring our buddies and our layers. You know, and again, try to layer these, pun there, try to put these, you know, so that they're layered in different stacking, you know, just to give it more appeal for the visually. And then, you know, like on the bottom shelf is where you'd put like storage of type items. These racks, we just got them, and they're the origami racks. They fold flat, so that should be really nice to use for these shows. And generally, like I said, we bring a lot more than this. If you're going to do a show, you really want to have the merchandise. Don't expect to go to a show and sell a couple $1,000s worth of product when you bring $300 worth with you. The chances of you collecting orders at some of these events is not going to happen. You need to have the merchandise there. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's very rare. If you think of it from this point, they don't know you. Why would they go ahead, even though you're set up there, give you their cash, credit card, or check to order something and hope to get it? You know, it's not like it used to be where you could trust people, and so more people are not willing to do that. They're not going to hand over their credit cards or their check or cash and hope that they get their product. If you want to sell and you want to do events, you need to have the merchandise there. That is the only thing I can say. I mean, we've done very well by doing this, and again, we bring a lot of merchandise. This is actually, I'm going to stress, a very small setup for us, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of how we do it. For me also, I do not have everything set, so you have to step in to the display to see things. I have everything pushed out. So if I can get a space that's one long line, I will take it over a square space because I can just have everything out straight in front and people can just walk through. They like to walk up to the merchandise. They don't want to walk up to you. And they feel, you know, less threatened, I guess, if they can go ahead and walk right up and start looking at things. People like to touch things, and you're just going to have to accept that something might get broken. We've done some pretty big events, and so far, so good. No, nothing broken except for what I've dropped. But other than that, I'm going to show you too, as far as when we do our plug-in warmers. We only have 2 spots for plug-ins right now. My husband built me this display, so if any of you are going to ask, he did build it for me. He's actually working on doing a larger version for me, something a little different. But we've only got the 2 wall plug-ins. So what we do is we just stack them out around, and we have a base that we keep behind the display that if somebody asks, oh, how does this work? And we show them. It's just like these. You just plug them in. Any of them that have matching, we try to stack them together so that they can see there's the large version and the smaller version, because some people do want to match things, so that's why. As far as like your display stands too, I prefer to stick with white. I know we all love our purple for Scentsy or the green, but when you're putting other things on there, sometimes that doesn't match and it takes away from your display. So I would stick with white as far as that goes. And like I said, with everything else, you know, and then plus you've got a colored tablecloth on a lot of times. So you really don't want a lot of clashing colors. And we try to keep it, you know, that way ourselves. We don't light everything up because that would really, really be too much. You would just be, you know, even though these light bulbs aren't that bright, it would just be like a blinding. It would be crazy. The light that we light up, usually the 2 top ones are lit too. It's just that Steph decided not to bring a power strip in, so they didn't get lit up. Sorry, you can blame it on Steph. She's standing here behind me laughing. But, so we light up the ones that are on the display stand only. Sometimes we'll have one on the table if we have it in some kind of display, but rarely, you know, we don't. We put 1 scent in, and how I pick a scent is usually by season and what I have the most of. And you might think that's funny, but that really works. If you have a lot of 1 scent, you'd be surprised. You will get rid of it. People will be asking you, oh, what's that smell? And I always show them too that you can put your finger into the wax and not burn yourself and things like that. So this is how we do it. And like I said, I don't claim to be any expert, but I've had a lot of you ask how I set things up. And for us, we've done very well. I mean, we average a decent amount at a show, so we must be doing something right. I'm going to have Steph lift up the tablecloth just so you can see that this is where we store everything. It would be underneath the table in bins or boxes. Bins are better because they hold up better. Boxes, not so much, but you know, you use what you got. And so with that, I think that's pretty much everything. Did we cover everything, Steph?
Did you do light bulbs?
Light bulbs, yeah. We always make sure we have light bulbs. Good thought.
Good idea.
Baskets. Light bulbs, always. Make sure. This is like a tiny few light bulbs in that little basket. Oh my gosh, we go through the light bulbs at events like crazy. I mean, really, it's not crazy to say, you know, to have 20 of each kind.
Yeah.
Minimum. Yeah, I mean, especially the plug-in ones, 30, 40 would not be a problem, depending on how long your event is. Also, little baskets. These are little Christmassy looking ones, but we use those when people are looking at the bars, you know, and you're trying to hold 2 or 3 bars, and then they get slippery, and you get one shoot across, you know, the floor and everything out of their hand. So we always will offer them a little basket to hold their bars in, because that usually if they're planning on only 2 or 3, they'll end up getting 6 for the 25. So that, you know, you're upselling without even trying in that sense. And some people will say, no, they don't need one. And then when they're juggling their bars later on, we hand it to them anyway because they're about to drop them. So definitely. With the layers, I usually put out a testers. I like to do that so people can try them. I haven't had a ton of layer sales yet, but I'm actually looking at doing some parties more with the layers because I think they're great products. The buddies, of course. Those will be changing up, so we don't know exactly how that's going to work. You know, and then we have our scent packs down there. I do bring travel tins as well. Again, we don't stack those behind the bars, though, because that would get a little bulky. We usually just put those in baskets. Baskets are your best friend when you're doing events like this, because if you're not sure where to stick something, you can throw it in a basket and set it aside, so it works really, really well. So I think we've got it all covered. What do you think, Steph?
I think so.
I think we're good. Like I said, just remember, if you're gonna do events, make sure you have product with you. If you don't have product with you, you're not going to sell. You can go and expect to collect names and talk to people, and that's great. But don't expect huge sales if you don't have a huge amount of inventory. And I know you don't have to do that with Scentsy, and that's fine. But this is just based off doing events and what we've seen and how things have worked for us. Thanks a lot. Bye.